Very warm welcome back. I knew you'd rejoin us, particularly you Blades fans. New Sheffield United manager Chris Wilder is with us. We're delighted to say for the second half of the show, James Gregg is going to update us on what's going on citywide and everything else bar football. But Chris, just chatting as we were in the first half, you referred to Burnley, you referred to Burton Albion and Northampton and Leicester City spectacularly, and the way that they all achieved success. At Sheffield United, you're not going to tell me what system you're going to play, but just broadly speaking, are you looking to get that ball quicker, a lot earlier? And I know I'm not drawing you into the Nigel Adkins reign, but certainly there was a lot of square balls and balls going sideways. Are you looking for it to go forward quicker?
We just want to play positive football. There's different ways to win a game of football, but we're not going to get it at the back and bang it forward because it's no good doing that. We've got Billy Sharp at the top of the pitch, and you've seen the players that we've brought in, we've seen the players that we've brought back, but we don't want to take ridiculous risks at the back as well, unnecessary risks. So we've got to get the balance right, but we want to play positive football that us shows that us getting after teams as well and putting them on the back foot, and then when we lose it, see if we can get it back as quick as possible. I think there's a lot talked about counter-attacking football, teams sitting off, teams pressing high, but basically it's a little bit of everything for us. Good players making good decisions, but we want to win games, especially at Bramall Lane. We all understand in the past what this place has been when the team is positive and when the crowd is fully behind the team. This is an intimidating place to play football, and that's what we want to make it. But we have to set a style out, and we have the players to implement that style to be positive in the way we want to go about it. And I think everybody recognises if you want success in the game, you've got to win home matches. You have to be solid and compact when you haven't got the ball, but when you have got the ball, you've got to be positive and score goals. And that's what we're looking to do. What
comes first? Can you devise the style before you know who you're bringing in, because you don't know yet who you're going to sign, or do you sign players to fit the
we're signing players to fit the system. That's right. Obviously that's why we look at the players that were at the football club and the players that we're looking maybe to move on, because we don't feel that maybe they fit the system. Now I might be wrong, I might come back pre-season and think, well, different idea on that player, and he's come back and he's changed. But we want players to be dynamic, athletic, and be positive, and we want to entertain. I think you have to look at the way we played last year in my previous club and where we have played at one of the previous clubs. You have to use the tools at your disposal at times, but we want to play forward-thinking, forward-playing football with some at the end of it. But as always, we have to finish with something, and we have to win games of football. So all different aspects.
Well, I saw you at Northampton. You're certainly passing it, but you're doing it very quickly, and moving very, very quickly through. People weren't dwelling on the ball for very long. And is that sort of the way that you're?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you have to, you have to get it to the players at the top of the pitch that win your matches, and that's what we try to do. But everybody has a part to play, because during the game, everybody's going to have that football at the feet, so they have to have. We have to have a shape about us, a way we're going to play, and places that we aren't going to play, and places that we want to play. But ultimately, when the ball rolls, players have to make decisions, and the game isn't black and white. It's not played on a computer game. It's played with live opposition, different conditions, different situations. But as I said, regardless of how we play and how we want to go about it, we want to win football matches, and that's what we have to do. We're all paid to do that. We're judged on that, and ultimately that's the aim for everybody is to win games of football.
Just before we bring James in, you played right back, so you didn't want the ball at your end of the field. No. You played for Dave Patterson. Well, in fact, you played for 11 clubs. People forget that you were at Southampton as a kid for 4 years, I think, 82 to 86. You played for 11 clubs, including your loans, and you've managed 5, and you've got a record of a 42.7% win ratio.
Wow,
I have done my research. You've managed 707 games, 707, and you've never been sacked. Now then, ever.
I don't want to sack.
No.
I don't want to sack. I don't want that on my CV. Every manager says it's coming, but I don't want that. Some managers say that's the only way you make money.
Some managers say that's the only way you learn to be a manager, but you're disproving that.
Well, you got about it your own way, don't you? Yeah. So I'm proud of my record. I've got my hands dirty at all different clubs, and I believe I'm ready for this challenge, you know. And I believe it's a fantastic fit for me, you know. Somebody said to me recently, he said, "Can you imagine, you know, a Blades supporter waking up every day and knowing that you're the manager of Sheffield United?" So I have that feeling.
Every day.
But obviously before breakfast. But obviously that comes with pressure. It comes with pressure and expectation. But I believe I'm ready for it. You know, I've managed at different levels, and
this is a pressurised job where there's been a high turnover of managers.
Yeah, I mean, what's that like? You know, regardless of the sort of turnover they've had. What is that like? You know, I'm a Blades fan, and imagining and you played for them as well, being a boyhood fan, playing for them, and then managing them. Just describe what that's like, you know, for people who love the Blades and have done all their lives.
Well, of course, it gives me an extra bit, an extra thrill. Of course, it does, because you've been there as a player, and you've been there as a supporter. But it's, you know, the stage. You know, I'm not fearful of the stage. You know. I'm not fearful of the sake. I don't think you can be in football, but you look to achieve, and you know, you walk around the stadium and you imagine that, you know, this full and playing winning football, and that drives me on and really gives me a focus to do well.
Do you feel you have to win promotion next season?
Well, that's got to be our aim, and there's no good getting away from the fact this club shouldn't be in this division, but it is. And we have to win. We have to win. However we do it, what our record is, we will be judged on how good we have been, and how quickly we can hit the ground running. But there's no reason why we can't put a team together that can be really competitive. And if they gel pretty quickly, then who knows where it takes us. But I can't say to the supporters, like, give me time. This is going to be a year where we might have to move the players on that I've inherited, and give me time and be patient with me. You know, we all want success. We all want to win games on a Saturday and Tuesday, and we're not going to win every Saturday and Tuesday. So it's how we bounce from a defeat. But basically, I'm asking, you know, for everybody to get behind the team, and the players to give everything that they've got. And who knows? I think I want it to be an exciting time. I want it to be an exciting period for the football club, and I want people to come and enjoy watching the football club again, because I get that feeling that they've lost that little bit of enthusiasm and love of the club, and it's waning a little bit. But it can be brought back. There's no curse hanging over the place, Al. Right. And if we can get it going and moving in the right direction, it's a special place and a special club to be involved in.
And the red and white stripes do help.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah, definitely.
Brought back the old kit, or near enough the old.
I can't take all the credit for that, but that's important. Yeah. I think, you know, it is important, and that's our street. They're our colours, and that's what we want to be. We want to be playing in, and players, and everybody's proud of who they support and who they represent.
Right, excellent. We'll take a short breather.
Yep.
James Gregg, what else is going on?
I'll rattle through this very quickly, because obviously we're going to get back talking to the man that's taken over at Sheffield United, Chris Wilder. But we'll start off a bit of football. Obviously, it's off-season for the men's, but Sheffield FC Ladies in the Women's Super League 2, they're in action all the way through the summer. It's great if you want to go and watch some competitive football, good standard of football as well. Sheffield FC Ladies not in action this weekend. They had a friendly last week against Notts County, and they won that game. And they're next in action in the FA Women's Super League Cup at home to Bristol City on the 2nd of July. But of course, we'll be talking about that just before the game on this programme. Rugby League, well, yesterday in 1997, the Sheffield Eagles became the second European side to win a game in the World Club Challenge when they beat the Perth Reds. But how times have changed in 19 years, a lot of ups, plenty more downs, lots of shake-ups have obviously split into being the Sheffield and Huddersfield Eagles, all that kind of stuff. They lost to Batley Bulldogs last week, and that leaves them 3 points off the bottom of the championship. Not very good for them at all, especially when they were targeting a top 4 finish. Mark Aston's men, they take on Swinton Lions Lions away from home on Sunday. Swinton Lions, they've got the worst points difference in the league, so it's a good chance for them to get things back on track, because I know that Mark will be very keen for that to happen. Sheffield's Speedway now, it's the Sheffield Tigers Speedway. They're meant to be in action tonight against Rye House, but that's off due to rain. They're in action next Thursday against Redcar in the Premier League, where they are 4th in the table. They're 3 points behind league leaders Glasgow, but they've got a couple of games, or meets, as we might want to call them, in hand on them as well. Sheffield now, of course, synonymous with golf. Danny Willett's Masters victory, projecting him into superstardom. Says he's coped very difficult. Find it very difficult to cope, I beg your pardon, with all the attention that he's been getting. Him and Matt Fitzpatrick playing in the groups behind each other today. I think they're sort of on and off the course due to thunderstorms and rain as well. Danny Willett, of course, he's the only man who can complete the Grand Slam this year because no one else has won a major. So good luck to them as well. Keep them updated. Hopefully another major victory to report in Sheffield next week as well. Cricket this weekend probably going to be rained off. Again, looking at the weather forecast, collegiate going well. Billy Root scored a runner ball 127 last week, so he's in very good nick heading into the weekend. And I've got to have a little special mention to athletics as well. It's the England Under-20 Championships this weekend at Bedford, and they carry a particular significance because it gives it's a trial for the Junior World Championships in Poland. There's Adam Haig, who's a pole vaulter, who's certain of selection, and there's other Sheffield athletes as well, like James Gormley and Abigail Roberts, also vying to compete in the World Championships.
Excellent, thank you very much, James. I should mention, you mentioned Sheffield FC Ladies there. Zoe Johnson, the coach of Sheffield FC Ladies team, delighted to say she will be here in that seat, in your seat, next week. Might even be looking to take over your job one day, you never know. But still, it's good to see the Sheffield FC Ladies in the Premier League, the FA Women's Premier League. Second division of it, but they're in the elite setup. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic to see Sheffield United. I think it's something that I should imagine that they'll be thinking about as well. A ladies team as well, and you've seen the World Cup last year, and it's great that it's all going well. The publicity that they get, and the girls coming down to watch the men, vice versa. It's all good stuff.
Indeed. I tell you what, there's one character that we've not mentioned yet, and I don't know how it's escaped both of us. It certainly escaped me. Dave Bassett. We talked about influences. You talked to Badge and Hemsley and Tony Curry, and no bigger influence, I would imagine, on your career than the man that you played for during Sheffield United's climb into the Premier League.
Yeah, frequently dropped by him as well. that we have a little bit of a chuckle over when we get together. But no, played a major part in my thinking of how I wanted to run a football team, and I think everybody has the different ways of playing, but you know, just his personality, his enthusiasm, attention to detail, organisation, togetherness, and you know, everything that goes with what Harry did in his football career. You know, the amount of promotions that he's had, he's up there in the LMA records, the amount of games that he's managed, the success he had. It wasn't given to him. He's worked very hard for his career, and very talented, and just a real decent guy. You know, I believe in that period for a Cockney guy to come up the road in the period of the club that was struggling a little bit. You know, could have gone either way, but Harry set his stall early on, made positive decisions, and really turned the football club round to what it is now. Really, I believe, you know, because it wasn't going anywhere. It was slipping about in the second division, and he's turned it round and really reignited the football club, the supporters, and the success that he's had. He will, in my opinion, go down as, in my lifetime, the best manager that the football club's ever had.
Yeah, Neil Warnock being a close second, probably. In that.
Without a shadow of a doubt, you know. Yeah. And I'll always go along with, you know, both of those guys did fantastic things for Sheffield United, and it was the best period of watching them. And if I can come anywhere close to what those guys have done, you know, I'll be absolutely delighted.
Can I just ask you whether you're going to involve Dave Bassett in any way?
No. There's no. You know, even when I talk to people, because that's my love, talking about football. And as I said today, you know, I possibly should be away from the ground somewhere, but you know, I want to still work and I want to keep going, and there is stuff to do. And what better way to spend the morning listening, you know, to these guys having a cup of tea. And as I said, it's not all Sheffield United, and so I'm my own man. You know, we work very closely with Alan Nill, who I've known a long time, through even down to the Southampton days when I was a young apprentice and he was a professional. So, you know, Alan and me work together as a team, and you know, I've got a lot of respect for Al, and we work as a team in trying to gain the results that we get. So, you know, I'm not looking to bring anybody in, but of course there is always a time, I should imagine, in any walk of life, that you need to take yourself away from the club and ask a question to somebody who you respect and you value the opinion. And Harry's certainly been there and done everything in the game.
Nice to have him on the end of the phone. I think James wants to raise a point. Just before you do, there's a guy who's very persistent on Twitter. He knows who he is, and he's Song. Okay, he's a good guy actually, but he's I must have had about 7 or 8 tweets from him today, and the latest one was, don't forget to ask him about Lee Novak. Was the latest one? Yeah. Who of course was at Birmingham, was on loan at Chesterfield, scored a load of goals. Yeah. So it's a pretty logical question, I suppose. I think it's a good question from him. It's probably one that I should have thought of anyway. Anything in that one?
What do you want me to tell you? Hey, listen, he's done great for Chesterfield, and he's a player that's in demand. As I said before, you know, I think we've got really good talent at the top of the pitch. So, you know, when the right one becomes available, then I'm sure that we'll go and do our business in the way that we will do, which is try to, under the radar, not shout about it. And I want us to be that type of football club as well.
Is he a consideration?
He's a good player, isn't he? That's the top and bottom of it. So, but I want us to do our work in that way until he's revealed, until he's signed. I've just been in the game too long, Al, to know that we've talking about individual players and we're going to sign him.
Indeed,
and this, that and the other. That a lot of things happen in that period. We're definitely signing him then, aren't we, really? That's what you're saying.
It's a good answer. You can interpret it as you want.
Yeah, come on, we know better than that.
I know what I think, but anyway. James, what you want to ask?
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously you've done loads and loads of press stuff since you've been Rails the manager. You spoke a bit about the Blades DNA, as it were. And having spoken to a couple of players, not naming names, from last season, they said that there was a couple in there who had a bit of a Billy Big Time mentality. I know you've not spent much time around the squad, but I'm sure that you're keen to make sure that all the lads are really level-headed. And when you do, how do you think that will then affect the rest of the season and all the performances?
You just don't win. You don't win anything, or you don't achieve anything with individuals. They have to be together, and everybody's got a part to play. And as I said, off the pitch, everybody's got a part to play to give me and the coaching staff and the players the best opportunity to win games. But I've always based it on team together. You know, if you are going to win stuff, you are going to achieve. Not every one of those players is going to play 46 games, so they have to buy into the team. If they don't want to, there's a snooker cue or a set of golf clubs or a tennis racket.
I know you're pretty handy with the snooker cue.
No, not me. I'm definitely not very good with a golf stick. So they're individual sports, but this is a team sport, and this is a team sport that has to rely on everybody playing their part and bringing it all together. So in that, of course, individuals will shine, and you need the individual brilliance and the sprinkling of real good talent to make the difference. From a losing position to a drawing position, from a drawing position to a winning position. So you all need that, but this will be a team that is together. It will fall out. I expect it to fall out, but I want it to fall out in the right way. And the right way is that we're pulling in the direction of winning games consistently.
You don't mind rows?
I mean, sometimes a good row actually gets it out, doesn't it?
Well, I think that, you know, it's a little bit of, you know, of both, you know, old school techniques and new school techniques, and you know, players are a little bit different now, but why not? You know, we're all after the same thing. You know, we're all, you know, it's not about me. I'm not an egotistical person. I don't care where we get the result from, as long as we get the right result. So there will be times that I'll bark and shout and do what I need to do, and we all will, but it will be for the right reason in trying to gain 3 points.
When you do that, I mean, you can rant with the best of them, I should imagine.
I enjoy a good bark now and again, Al. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it half time or full time or both?
I think
Can it be either?
I think you've got to go with your instinct and your experience as well.
How much is it calculated and how much is it actual temper?
I think you can't always bark because it loses its effect. I think it's just man management and getting the best out of players. And sometimes it will be off the cuff and it'll just come from somewhere, and sometimes it'll be calculated. But I just think that's the way you have to manage to get the best out of people. You know, I don't always agree with it. You know, every time that I speak to agents or managers, well, they need an arm round them, they need an arm round them. It does my nutting, if I'm honest. You know, it's a man's sport, it's a professional sport, it's a contact sport, and we have to act like men and behave like men and play like men. And sometimes you have to take the good with the bad. And I think players are always very accepting of, you know, a pat on the back, but sometimes with that comes a little bit of a dig now and again. So you have to take that, and it's the way you handle both aspects of that. You know, it's the way you handle defeat and the way you handle victory. So that's just part and parcel of being a man in a professional game, and that's what we're looking to have.
And your approach media-wise, there are certain managers, Steve Bruce being one of them, who is a pleasure always to interview because he always tells you about the game you've seen. It's near enough the same game that you've seen. No spin, Al. I mean, you know, I'm of course I can't come out and smash my players all the time. You know, and I have to manage them and get the best out of them. But I think we all pretty much see a similar sort of game, and I think one of the qualities of the supporters at Bramall Lane is that they're very knowledgeable about the game. We don't always see the same game. We don't always rate the same players, and we don't always pick the same team. We don't always make the right substitutions, the same substitutions. So we all have that, which is, I should imagine, it's only exactly of what we've just watched this afternoon. If you're watching England, you know, we'll all have different opinions how they should play and who should be playing and who should be starting and not starting. And obviously it's left with the England manager to do that and his staff, and it's left with me and my staff to do that. So, you know, that's just the love of and the opinion of the game. There's one blade over there who's very hopeful on the back of your appointment. Is that right, Jim?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you didn't enjoy last season, did you? Very much.
No. It's not easy sitting here every week saying, never mind, let's talk about Sheffield Wednesday. But there we go.
We haven't talked about Sheffield Wednesday, and we've only got a minute left.
I don't think
we should.
I don't think there'll be many owls sticking around till this time.
No. We have had a lot of Wednesday-dominated programmes, but seriously, they almost made the Premier League. Very, very close. So it set a standard, didn't it? Set a target.
Well, you know, we have to concentrate on our football club and make sure we get that right. And if we do, then we can challenge, because it should be challenging. It should be in the Premier League. We all know that, Alan. It's, you know, but it isn't.
Some of us have seen it in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You've played in the Premier League, and I've watched it. And so it can be done.
And it isn't, but we'll do our utmost to get it there.
Absolutely, I'm sure you will. And it's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in.
Cheers.
For the full hour. And with a bit of luck, we can have a beer and we can see the next game. I think it's Germany-Poland now. It's all right, you can kick off now. We've nearly finished. You can start the game. James, Greg, thanks very much indeed.
Cheers.
Chris Wilder,
Cheers.
It's been fantastic to see you.
Cheers.
And don't forget, 11 p.m. repeat on my YouTube channel if you've missed it. Meantime, see you next week. Bye.